What's up, everybody? Rosso Reviews here, and I'm back at it again with another video. And today, I'm joined my boy Bkopps.
What's up?
Bkopps of Twitch TV, of YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. All that stuff is going to be down below, probably underneath him as well. And we're breaking down episode 3 of season 7 of A Game of Thrones, as you know by the title of the video. And it's Sunday. You know what that means. I'm always the last one to the party. I put up my videos right before the episode comes out. So instead of having to rewatch an hour's worth of TV, boom, 10, 20 minutes, we get you all caught up. Alright, so overall, I thought this was a pretty solid episode. Another good one. We finally got some things that we've been waiting for. And if you're a book reader, you've been waiting since, 96, 97 for this?
I don't know, man. I'm a casual watcher. No idea.
Well, what did you think of the episode, Bkopps?
I really liked it, man. Just a culmination of everything building up so far. Jon finally meeting up with Daenerys, as well as his interaction with Tyrion once again. So it was really cool seeing all these characters bounce off each other. You know things aren't going to go so smoothly right away because we still have a season and a half left. So,
That and if it went well right off the bat and he just rolled up and was just like, yo, I don't want to bend the knee, and she's just like, yeah, that's fine. What you just told me sounds crazy, but I'm willing to bite. You know what I mean? Up until this point, the Northerners seem to be right on board with it. Yeah, White Walkers, we're gonna fight them, and he hasn't run into a problem where someone doesn't actually believe him yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was a nice spot for both Dany and Tyrion to be like, what you talking about, Willis? And naturally, Dany thinks she's just going to come in here and just, it's going to be easy. She's going to take everything over relatively quick. But she finds out, relatively quickly that there are other strong-headed people in Westeros that, she might have not considered to be an ally,
mm-hmm.
and may now think, okay, I should probably rethink my strategy.
Right, She comes across from the beginning very narrow-sighted. She really just wants to focus on the Iron Throne right now, which I understand because she has no idea about the White Walkers or anything yet, which we'll eventually get to, but for the time being, it's kind of understandable anyway for her to just only be focusing on that and try to get as many allies as she can, since she just lost her fleet with Euron's kids. See, I'm a casual viewer. I forget all their names.
Yeah, Yara and
Theon,
the nephews of Euron, crazy man,
who's slowly becoming my new favorite character because he's
off the rocker. Here's the rocker and here's Euron. He's off the rocker.
He's a guy that literally came out of nowhere, and they're trying to make him that Joffrey kind of character that you really hate. He's a really big scumbag, but he's fucking hilarious. He's just so out of his mind, and I love him.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so Euron just comes in to literally rides his horse right into the throne room, which we saw. That's a callback to Tywin from season 2 or 3. I forget exactly which one. Yeah, it's the end of season 2, right after the Battle of Blackwater. So Euron comes in and he's just parading the last 2 sand snakes and Yara around, brings them in and is just here you go, throws the chains down so they fall right in front of Cersei.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just here's a gift. And then she's you can just see Cersei getting so turned on by this. And it's kind of weird. It's super weird. I try to keep this to a minimum, but in the books, she burns the Tower of the Hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it says in the books that she gets she gets wet from it. And so to see her do crazy shit and get so turned on by it in the show is a nice take of her character, because it is from the books. And we see in the next scene when he tortures he basically starts torturing Ilaria and whatever the hell that young sand snake's name is. Honestly, you guys know how I feel. I don't care about the sand snakes at this point. When she goes to torture them, she comes back to Jaime and just starts sucking his fucking cock. It's it's the weirdest 5 minutes of Cersei's character ever. But yeah, so and then Euron's talking to Jaime and he's just hey, if you have any tips, let me know. And Jaime's what the fuck are you talking about? And he's just perhaps a finger in the bunghole. And he's just whoa, dude, you're fucking going there, man. Dude, he's nuts.
Yeah, he's very direct. He pretty much said it from the get go that he just wants to bone Cersei.
Yeah.
And trying to win her over, and of course he's like, "Oh, okay, you can have me once, like we conquer everything."
Yeah.
So she's gonna make him wait and work for it, but it's still funny. Like we're gonna have, you can tell there's just gonna be so much bickering between him and Jaime. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
See. Like, I'm curious if you kind of figure that eventually Jaime will be the one that will try to confront him and try to take him out or something. But I guess we'll see.
I've got some worries about Jaime as a whole because his character from the book has changed completely, and I feel real bad the way they're going with it. They're like he's basically just in an abusive relationship and can't find his way out of a paper bag.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Valonqar prophecy about like your younger brother will strangle the life from you. Like a lot of people think that's Tyrion, and so does Cersei.
Mm-hmm.
But personally, I think it would be a little bit more poetic if it was Jaime. Because then obviously it's her lover, and that's a callback to when he said a couple of seasons ago, like, how do you want to go out? And it's like, well, I want to die in the arms of the woman I love, and obviously we know that it's Cersei that he loves.
Mm-hmm.
And we were brought into this world, we'll leave the world together, stuff like that. So, Jaime's not afraid to get his hands dirty. He's taken down some crazy monarchs in the past. So I think it would be only right if he did it again.
Right.
All right, so I really like that, Littlefinger's letting other people use this, like, magic jetpack that he has. Like, Jon got to, Dragonstone in a nick of time. Like, just blinks, and he's there. So I thought that was pretty cool. And, like we addressed earlier, seeing him and Tyrion meet up again is awesome because they built a really good friendship in the first season, on the first couple episodes over at the Wall. Jon really trusted Tyrion because he was the only person who really told him, like, Jon had his heart set on joining the Night's Watch.
Right.
And, like, Tyrion was just like, dude, you really want to join the Night's Watch? Like, they kind of suck, like, as people. And, when his brothers tried to kill him that he ended up becoming friends with, Jon even said to Tyrion, like, you're the only person who didn't lie to me about this. Like, you told me what this was going to be like. So that was really cool to see them meet up again.
Yeah, and they had that funny little interaction later on when Jon's just kind of like held up there, like they won't let him leave, and Tyrion's just like, I can't brood as good as you or something.
Yeah, dude, I love, because like everyone always like makes like fun of Jon and Kit basically for brooding all the time. Like if you see like a lot of like Kit's modeling photos, he's like doing that like blue steel brood, and like there's the meme, I'll probably put it up here, of like Valyrian steel, or like blue steel, like the blue steel look, and all that other stuff. So it's really funny to see them like mention in the show. Like Brienne mentioned it a couple episodes ago, in last season technically.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps he's a bit brooding, but he's not like that Tormund fellow. And then I love when Missandei is like, oh, it's Daenerys Targaryen, Stormborn, the Unburnt, the this, the that, the Queen of Ys, the Khaleesi of Yusau and so, and like all this other stuff, and then Davos is just like, this is Jon Snow, King of the North. And it's like couldn't even give him like the White Wolf, like Lord Manderley named him,
resurrected from the dead.
Yeah.
The next Messiah.
I like how they actually like kept that under wraps, because it's like Jon's not proud of like coming back from the dead. Like unlike other characters in the show, like Jon's really not all as proud of his actions and the good deeds that he's done and the things that have happened to him as other characters. Like I think that was actually a very wise move for Jon to like kind of stop Davos there. And because obviously if you're sitting there like, hey, the Walking Dead are coming, and then all of a sudden like,
oh, by the way, I'm also Walking Dead.
Yeah, like that's a guaranteed way to get fucking murdered.
Yeah.
And I liked how Dany and Tyrion both made a note of that, and like even later on they're just like, what did he mean by that? And he's just like, I don't know, maybe it's just something Northerners say. Like I don't really know what to tell you. So I think that that's gonna play like a big thing, and like I can imagine when they like go to bone, and it's like, I want to see you, and like he's like afraid to like take off his cloak because obviously he's got like 7 or 8 like massive gashes like we saw last season. Like he got fucked up, you know. And I want to see like Danny's reaction to that and be like, oh my god, you were fucking murdered. Wow, okay.
But wasn't the whole I mean, it's a little confusing, like the way, like with his bloodline and stuff that they kind of introduced. So, I mean, they're not related, or like how is that going to work?
So they're aunt and nephew, because Danny is Rhaegar's sister, and Rhaegar is Jon's father. So that makes them nephew and aunt. But I think play games with me here, people. If you don't know. Does it matter?
I mean, it would probably just be like a Luke and Leia situation, except not as, I don't know.
It's dicey. I just want to see 2 hot people have sexual intercourse. Like, isn't that why we all watch part of this show? Believe me, people, I'm not condoning incest. I'm not. Moving on.
Very good. Please.
So, like, when Jon and Danny are talking privately and, like, looking at the 2 dragons she named after her brothers, you know, it makes the connection just like, hey, listen, like, you know, we're not as different as I think we are and stuff like that. And, you know, perhaps maybe I should start believing you because, you know, people didn't believe in dragons for a long time. Like, it's been a while since dragons were in the world and I brought them back. And, you know, it's easier for her because she brings the proof with her.
Right.
Whereas, you know, Jon physically can't. You know, he really just kind of has to have people trust him. And I really like the line where, you know, they were talking, he was like, oh, you're talking to Tyrion, and she goes, yeah, you know, we all like what we're good at, and Jon's like, I don't. Like, you know, you kind of see, like, Jon didn't ask for any of this, he's just trying to do what's right for the good of the world. Not just the North, not just the realm, but of, like, the entire planet.
Right.
You know, regardless if he doesn't know anybody in Essos or, you know, he sees this and is just like, holy shit, like, this could kill us all. And that's also a callback to, in Season 5, when Barristan Selmy is just like, Rhaegar never liked killing. And, like, his men fought for him because they believed in him. And, you know, she's starting to see, and we as the audience are also getting a lot more, like, direct relationships between Rhaegar and Jon, and that, you know, he really is his father's son, whether he likes it or not. And, you know, I think, because most people see him and are just like, oh, that's Ned Stark's son, he is as honorable as Ned Stark, you know, even though he is a bastard. And, you know, Rhaegar and Ned, in many aspects of personality, were very similar to each other. They weren't as different. Obviously, Ned didn't run off with another woman, do all that mess, but, you know, in terms of principle, you know, they're very similar to one another. So moving on to some of the other Stark interactions we had this episode, Sansa's crushing it up in the north in Winterfell. Like, you know, the whole time she's been begging for a chance to lead, and, you know, we've seen that she kind of feels that she should be the Lady of Winterfell and rule the north and stuff like that. And, you know, we see her put her money where her mouth is here, and I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you really got to see her character grow through the progress of the show, and seeing her being this innocent girl to this victim, unfortunately, and now a leader. It's really nice to see how her charter turned out.
Yeah, and she was calling stuff out that even I wasn't thinking of, like when they walked by the breastplates and the smiths, and she's like, why aren't they putting leather on that? And I'm just like, oh, yeah, you're probably gonna want to put leather on that. You're right. And I'm like thinking, like, wow, holy shit, okay.
Yeah.
You know, she's thinking of a lot of things that even like Sir Royce was just like, yeah, you are right. I'll be right back and like let me correct that for you. Like, it's nice to see that, you know, she's not undermining Jon at this point in time. We might see something later in the season, but at this point in time, you know, we really see that she just cares for the good of the people of Winterfell and the good of the North, which I thought is really nice. And then Bran comes.
Yeah, that was a really shock for me, because it was pretty much kind of signaling to me that it was going to be Arya that was going to show up first, and then for Bran to be there instead, I was like, whoa, threw a curveball right there.
Yeah.
But I mean, eventually all these characters are going to get back together anyway. But because it was Bran instead of Arya, I was like, oh wow, that's a nice surprise.
It's nice to see like Sansa and Bran reunite because we did see Theon confess to her in season 5, like that this is, he didn't actually kill Bran and Rickon, and she watched Rickon die, she knew Rickon died at the Battle of the Bastards and stuff like that, and then just like for Bran to finally show back up, she gets very emotional about it, which rightfully so, and then Bran's just like T-1000 just, hello Sansa. And dude, I get it. Like this dude has just gotten the entire history of the world downloaded into his brain. Like, you know what I mean? You log into werewood.net for long enough, you're gonna not come out with the same files. It's kind of like LimeWire, right? You try to get some free music and then you give your computer AIDS. Like it's just it's shit happens. So when they're at the Weirwoods, right, and Bran's like, I'm the three-eyed raven, and she's like, I don't know what that means, and I'm just like, dude, neither do I. Like I've been watching the show forever, and like I've read all the books, and it's like I can totally see like that's the true reaction of like casual fans and like people who are just starting to get into the show, just like I don't know what that means, dude.
It basically means he's Neo, right?
Yeah, dude, he knows everything, and like he's the antithesis of Jon Snow. Like Jon Snow knows nothing, Bran Stark knows all. Like
I feel like when he goes back, that's essentially like the Matrix, kind of. I don't know.
Yeah.
He plugged himself into the tree or that world he goes into.
Yeah. And he goes back and starts meddling with shit, and then it's just like, well, try to explain it, and he just like can't, and then he's like, you looked beautiful on the night you were married, Sansa. It's a shame you were raped, and it's like, whoa, dude, whoa, pump the brakes, bro. That's not the first thing you say to your sister. But it's just like how it all happened was just like, holy shit, dude. Like, fucking tone it back, man. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens if Arya ever makes it back to Winterfell.
And, I think you'll see her back within the next couple of episodes.
Yeah. I mean, if it took, you figure it was 2 episodes from when Bran got to the wall to Winterfell. Arya will probably be back soon enough.
I mean, the time travel between everything is like really messed up in this season specifically. Yeah. Like with Euron, the battle with the fleet, and then all of a sudden he's already back. With Jon, he went all the way from where he was in the north to where Daenerys was. So everything's happening, progressing really quick, and it's
and actually, shameless plug to another channel here. If you guys are like really curious about like the actual timeline of events, because we know we get shown things out of order. CiviliationEx on YouTube. I'll drop a link to that down below. He does a really good job of like really breaking down and like trying to figure out, okay, if X, Y, and Z happens, did it actually happen in X, Y, and Z or not? Like what makes most sense? And he puts it together in a good video to like really put it together and to put it into perspective. But HBO really like has to start putting like 3 weeks later, 2 weeks in the past, 1 month ahead of time. Like, just tell us like how long it's taking for things to progress, because it really kind of ruins the immersion when you don't know like how long things are taking, and then like shit just happens out of nowhere.
Right.
But they're putting the pedal to the metal here, trying to get to the end. So, but yeah. So then at the end of the episode, we get pretty cool battle scene. We get both the storming of Castle Rock and then the destruction and overtaking of Highgarden, where the Tyrells live. And I really like the way this was shot, where like Tyrion was narrating, and it's almost like that the first part we see where like the Unsullied run up and they're like trying to go over the wall. It's like that's the failed plan, but he's like that would be the obvious thing to do, and then he says the other part of it where they go through and go up his little Hodor. And I saw that the other day and I had to do it. So they go up the Hodor and take everything over. But when you really look at it, he's just narrating exactly what's going on. There's no like alternate like one part didn't happen but the other part did. Like it all happened. And then the look of oh shit on Grey Worm's face is especially because we established that he was the bravest. He didn't have fear, and then at the end of the episode, he's like, "Oh shit, like Euron's here, and they're just gonna destroy our fleet and leave. Like they're not even gonna fight us. They're gonna just let us stay in the castle with no provisions and just wait until we die." And then Jaime, pulled the Robb Stark on him. Like that was like his big fuck up in season 2 that led to him getting captured.
Mm-hmm.
They bit in one place and the army was actually in another, and captured Jaime Lannister. So to see him bring that back again, there's a lot of callbacks this season to shit that's going on, like almost as if they want you to remember.
Right.
But we get the walkthrough, and I like how a lot of people are like, well, we should have seen the battle, but I really liked that shot of like how you're just like following behind Jaime as he's walking through, and like you already see at the end of like what actually happened and stuff. And then we get his little sit down with the Queen of Thorns, Olenna Tyrell.
She reveals to him that she was actually the one that poisoned Joffrey a few seasons ago. So even though he was there to kill her off, he was going to kill her off peacefully with a little poison in the goblet.
Yeah.
But she said she revealed the truth, and
and she went out on top. Oh yeah, dude, she went out on top, like, and kicked Jaime right in the fucking pants because
you saw how furious he was,
and like after he fought for her to die with, dignity, I guess would be the word, and to die rather peacefully instead of like Cersei, if she knew, would have sent the Strangler.
Yep.
For her to die just how Joffrey did. And that's what Olenna didn't want.
Yep.
And, we knew right after that happened that Olenna was the mastermind behind that with Littlefinger. So, to see that truth finally come out, I don't know if Jaime tells Cersei, because what's that going to do? I guess maybe that puts her, like, now she's going to hunt Littlefinger, but I guess, well, she doesn't know that Littlefinger was involved. She just knows that she would just know that Olenna was involved.
Right.
But either way, that was a solid way to end the episode, where Jaime just storms out, like thinking he won, but then like
you just see his furiousness on his face. Like it goes from content, and then within like 2 seconds, his face just shifts.
And I like that they're setting up in this next episode that we're going to get a nice old-fashioned Old West train robbery with the Dothraki. I have not watched the leaked episode. I am a good viewer. I did not. I was sent the link, and I promptly went the other way. So I did not watch it. I don't know what's going on. I'm just basing it solely off of the foreshadowing plus the trailer for tonight's episode. But either way, that pretty much wraps shit up. So anything you want to plug, Bkopps?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Bkopps, or you can follow me on Twitter at Bryan Koppelmann.
Cool. Yeah, we'll put links to all that shit down below. And obviously, you've seen the parts where his name pops up with some handles. I did some little funky infographics and stuff. So either way, Rosso signing off, and I'll see you next time.
Adios.